In episode number 340 of the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, we cover the future of the Flash films from Ezra Miller.
We also have the latest downloadable content for LEGO DC supervillains.
Our comic book highlight this week comes from Tom King, and that is Batman number 67.
All of this and so much more on today's show.
Hello and welcome to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke every single week, ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. I am Engineer Daniel.
And I'm Kelli.
No Emperor today?
I'm always the Emperor. I just wanted to mix it up, make sure they were paying attention. I am Emperor Kelli, not Empress, not Queen, Emperor. There's no gender roles here.
Very woke of you.
Very 2019.
That's right. To anyone new to the show, the way we format it is we go through some news first. We head into the Broke block, which is where Papa Kelly and I have been this week. We head on over to the Patreon shoutouts, which is our thank yous to everyone that make the show possible each and every week. Then we finally end it with a comic book review.
But our first piece of news this week brings out the rage in all of us. This is the injustice of the world right here, and we're going to talk about it. It makes me so angry.
While it does make me angry, it makes me embarrassed for Disney and their MCU sheep. It makes me sad for cinema. It makes me upset about the apparently no laws that exist in the monopoly of the world. And more importantly, the injustice that is, let's go ahead and give pedophile apologists, and let's just let that ride completely. You must have been a member of Tumblr and following all those guys, and now you're probably a fan of this James Gunn bullshit. And that's exactly what it is with pedo perv James Gunn.
That's what I always hear every time you say his name.
Who's been reinstated as the director of Guardians of the Galaxy 3, according to Deadline. Deadline was the first who broke the news.
If you've been living under a rock and you don't know the history of this, we'll give it briefly before we share our thoughts. Back in July 2018, pedo-perv James Gunn was fired from the Walt Disney Company for inflammatory tweets from less than 10 years ago that included hundreds of tweets championing rape, sexism, and pedophilia.
To say the least. There's a lot of misogynism in there. There was a whole thing about him wanting to fuck the straight back into Batwoman. That was also early on, less than a decade ago. Mm-hmm. But you know, that's all right. That's okay. And there was the jokes about raping babies and that's okay though. It's fine.
He was young.
He was in his 40s.
He didn't know any better. He was just being a guy.
What a piece of shit. And the Walt Disney Company made the right move and fired his ass. Got rid of him.
See you later, bye.
After that, Warner Brothers made the wrong and embarrassing move by bringing him on for The Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad Junior, in which we decided we're not going to watch that. We're not going to support this. We're not going to support pedo-perv James Gunn or Warner Brothers in their decision to try to bring this into their company. It's disgusting. It's embarrassing. It's fucking filthy. It is not something we wanted to support. And now Disney has done a complete reversal. And what the fuck changed? What changed from now and back then when they fucking fired him?
Supposedly they couldn't find another suitable enough director for this film.
I heard that he pleaded with the company, and when someone up top heard him and they were like, he's sincere enough, we can bring him back. It was just a gut feeling.
Oh my God.
Fucking gut feeling.
Oh my God. But the thing is, like, okay, I'm sorry. We'll continue with our facts again. If you've lived underneath a rock, right? So he did direct the first two Guardians, which made a combined $1.63 billion at the box office worldwide.
So it took two films to make $1.63 billion. Aquaman, one movie, made over $1 billion. So
$1 billion.
$1 billion. Yes. Over half of what two movies made for Disney.
Yes.
That a pedo-perv James Gunn actually worked on. But all right, let's continue on this.
Yeah.
Apparently that was enough for them. Maybe the money in there was enough. In April of last year, pedo perv James Gunn's friend. Here's where most of these MCU sheep either choose to ignore or choose to not find out or know this information because it was very easily not brought up ever again with his connection to pedo perv James Gunn. But in April of last year, pedo perv James Gunn's friend, Huston Huddleston, was arrested over child porn charges as well as a felony to entice a minor. There were several pictures in the past of the two together. James Gunn tweeted jokes about Huston sending him child porn. And then when you click on it, it was one of the...
Rickroll.
The Rickroll. It's like, hold on a second. How do you specifically joke about that? And then suddenly he goes down for child porn charges and trying to entice a minor, your friend? There is something going on there. That is a huge, massive connection that should immediately spark. As soon as he went down, that should have sparked a whole investigation on pedo perv James Gunn.
Huddleston did plead guilty last June. But let me ask you, who names their kid Huston Huddleston?
It might be his Hollywood name. I don't know.
Who picks up for a Hollywood name? Perverts, pedophiles, Kelli. Oh,
right.
Okay. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. Look for weird-ass names. Those are all pedophiles.
But that is a massive bit of facts that are out there that it's like, what the fuck? How are we not paying attention to this? How is this not a huge... How is that alone not something to make the Walt Disney Company and Warner Brothers go, let's just cut off ties. If he wants to work in TV just like Joe Whedon, let him do that. We're not going to risk it, because if it does come out that, if and when it does come out that maybe there was some kind of connection somewhere after they do a proper investigation, hopefully on Huddleston, that then maybe links him to pedo perv James Gunn, that's not going to be a good look for the Suicide Squad Jr. or Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Especially if we get to the point where, because he's going to do the Suicide Squad Jr. first, which is, again, I was pretty upset about, because I'm like, good, maybe this will take him away from it. It did not. He's going to finish the Suicide Squad, and then he's going to do Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So at the very least, we've got like 5+ years before we get Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Plenty of time for Walt Disney to, maybe an investigation does go forth, and then they find something, and then they refire him. Hashtag refire pedo perv James Gunn. But who knows if they even are going to go that route, because so far that's once again a bit of news and facts that quickly got buried.
Now let me ask you, the group that brought up all these tweets, right? The internet people who spent hours going back in time to find them. Do you not think that they'll be even more outraged and search even harder?
I hope so.
And actually find something?
I fucking hope so. But I don't know if that group has moved on to something else, or if now they're going to start redigging, which they should.
They absolutely should. This, when the news hit, so you obviously told me first, right? Because we text all throughout our day. So you were just like, you're never fucking going to believe this shit. And I was like, oh my God. Well, then I got on Facebook later in the day, and it was everywhere. And a lot of the comments, and it broke my heart that this is how people saw this situation. And you can tell they just didn't understand everything, right? They read one article that agreed with their viewpoints that he was the greatest thing since sliced bread, and they ran with it. But a lot of the comments were like, oh yeah, we just had to wait for the fake outrage to blow over. And I was like, you absolutely should be outraged 100% about the stuff that he said, because you don't joke that way.
Fake outrage over pedophilia jokes, about sexism, about misogyny, and then his friend goes down for child porn charges last year, and he had been joking about that shit for years, including a joke where he said that guy sent him child porn, and that's all fake outrage. You are insane, you are blind, you are sheep, you are outside of your fucking mind, and you are not fucking human if you think that is okay. If you must not have kids then. If you think that, it's fucking disgusting. It's disgusting if that's how you think, and that's how fucking brainwashed you are to all of this nonsense. You can forgive pedophilia as long as you get your fucking shitty-ass, mediocre comic book comedies. It is absolutely insane.
It just made me so angry, and I even got into it with some people, right, discussing this, where they're like, oh yeah, I'm glad he's back. Did you hear about it? Da-da-da-da. And I was like, do you even know what he did? And they're like, oh, he sent some, like, bad tweets. I'm like, no, that's not what he did. And like, I lay it all down for him, and I'm like, and then his best friend got convicted of child pornography. Like, so what's going to happen when we find out about James Gunn? They're like, oh, like it finally clicks for them, right? But you have to break it down for them because they're just believing what they want to believe, believing what one article told them or what they heard from their friends who don't care, don't feel like digging into it and really understanding. And it's just unfortunate that that's the way that it went. And just another example, right, of these, and I mean, I don't want to really phrase it this way because it's not just the way it is, but these men who do this shitty stuff and still get away with it and have no problems. And they're like, it's even better now. He's got one movie on each side of the company, you know, the two different companies, right? So
that's right. It is about men also getting away with this shit. It is about all kinds of shit. Oh, how do you want to spin this too? It's about white males. It's about males. It's about Disney. However, whatever it falls under your particular outrage,
whatever triggers you,
it's for the right reasons because this is fucking wrong. This is fucked up. It is really fucked up. And in a few years, if it turns out that there was more to this pedo perv James Gunn and they actually investigate, who the fuck are you going to think back on? Which side of history are you going to be on? Fucking embarrassing, a fucking travesty. Mm-hmm. It is unbelievable. And on top of that, everyone forgets the fact that he did not do the script for Guardians 1. Mm-hmm. It was written by a woman that he then repurposed a bit, and everyone gives him credit for it. And then he did Guardians 2, which was not handled as well as far as the audience. Everyone I talked to, they're like, yeah, Guardians 2 wasn't as good. No shit, he fucking wrote that one. Guardians 1 was not really his work.
You know what I want to happen in a perfect world? In a perfect palpable world, a perfect palpable planet. In my perfect palpable planet, both DC and Disney have rehired him so he feels like he's at the top of the world, and they're both teaming up to investigate together to find out his shit so they can fire him again. Be like, this is what you get, pedo perv. I know that's not what's happening, but in my perfect palpable planet.
I saw the perfect gif of, so he still does the movie with Warner Brothers, and now he's back on Disney. Life is rigged.
Yeah.
Like it is rigged.
Yep, 100%. If you got money and you're a white male.
Well, no, there's one that did not have the same treatment, Kelly. Zack Snyder. Had Zack Snyder put out one, who was also a straight white male, had Zack Snyder put out one fucking tweet that was even close to this, he would have been fucking untouched. No one would have fucking worked with him. Not a single person. He's never, ever put out a tweet anywhere near as fucking disgusting or a pedophile like James Gunn, who tweeted out the worst of the worst shit. And yet he's also getting, castigated over this fucking bullshit, over nonsense, over his movies making a profit and making money, but the Disney fucking sheep
don't understand it.
Destroying his movies through Rotten Tomatoes and reviews, and he's the one that gets fired, and he's the one that doesn't get that work. Thankfully, he's getting that stuff through Netflix now, and again, if they ever were to offer him anything, should he return or not return to Warner Brothers, whatever his decision is, if he chooses to say no, good on him. Because either way, they did not treat him right. This is not the way to do these things. And now the complete opposite of how not to fucking do something is being shown in front of us with pedo perv James Gunn. And everyone fucking celebrates that bullshit. If you had told me this 10 years ago, that this was going to go down, I'd say you were fucking wrong. That's never going to fucking happen. What do you think? People are going to forgive someone for putting out pedophilia shit? No way. Lo and behold, we live in a topsy-turvy fucking world. Who fucking knew? What a time. What a fucking upside-down goddamn time.
So neither Disney nor Marvel have released a timetable for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Hopefully he gets convicted and it never happens.
That's right. If he is in fact connected in some way and based on his own history, obviously there is a connection there between him and Huddleston, then yes, I do also agree something should happen there. At the very least, a full investigation on pedo perv James Gunn. We shall see how the next couple of years unroll, and once again, keep that in the back of your mind. You now know, Broquette, how this really goes and what the information that you're not seeing out there. You now have that. Educate your fellow coworkers, educate your fellow office mates. When it comes up, you are empowered.
And don't see either movie, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 or Suicide Squad Jr.
I think for Guardians 3, everyone should be baby girls. Yeah, I bet you fucking do. I bet you fucking do wish that shit.
Of course he wants them all to be babies, and Suicide Squad will all be their younger selves.
And their kids. It's like, God damn it, James. Fucking jeez.
Their younger selves and their kids. And Baby Groot. Let's put him in there too. Ugh. Sounds terrible.
Moving on to a lighter part of the world. Something not so fucking icky and sludgy and vomity. According to The Hollywood Reporter, actor Ezra Miller is going to be writing a new Flash screenplay with comic book extraordinaire Grant Morrison, who we're not as crazy about. He has sold millions, though, so...
I mean, people love him. He's just not for me. So Ezra's continuation as the Flash on the big screen totally depends on Warner Brothers' approval. I don't see why I don't know, maybe. Maybe they're going in a whole nother direction. What do I know?
Well, the thing is, now that they're no longer going with that plan that we saw a couple years back at San Diego Comic-Con, where instead they're just focusing on each individual property and each individual film as its own separate franchise, kind of like they're doing with Aquaman. Aquaman 1, massive fucking hit. All right, let's branch out in the Aquaman world. Wonder Woman, obviously, we're going to get Wonder Woman 84 next year. When that one is a hit as well, they're going to branch out into the Cheetah movie or whatever ends up being the great thing from that film. So with this case, they don't need the Flash movie anymore. They don't need the Cyborg movie anymore. As much as we may want them, that's not their focus. So instead, they're going, okay, if you have a great story and you have something that we think would be a hit or something that we receive as a proper moneymaker for them, then yes, they'll go forward, but they're not obligated. It's not a part of the plan. There is no 10-year, 5-year plan like we had several years back.
Which is unfortunate because I loved the way he portrayed the Flash. I thought he was a great Flash, and I would love to see his story continue on. Hopefully, he comes out with this script and it's fantastic so we can get this movie.
Grant Morrison has written The Flash before, so most likely they're going to try to adapt something similar to what he's done in the comic books. The drafts from before by John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein, who had previously done Spider-Man Homecoming, aimed for a lighter direction for the films, much like Aquaman and Shazam, but Ezra and Morrison want to go for a darker tone with their script.
The last official announcement we got from Warner Brothers had a Flash film under the Flashpoint title, but THR reports that is no longer the case.
That's all thanks to Joe Whedon and all thanks to the firing of Mr. Snyder.
What other dark Flash stories could they tell, though, besides Flashpoint?
I'm not too familiar with Grant Morrison's run on The Flash, but I believe he's the one who introduced like that death incarnation of The Flash in the comic books, which is definitely a darker portion of the Flash storylines. And that could be where they're going to explore or where they're going to go. I know we have those trades in the store, and I've seen and I've flipped through a couple of those. And yeah, you do see like a black death-like Flash chasing Barry Allen, even on the cover and throughout the comic book. So I don't know what that story is. I should probably read that trade just out of curiosity, but it's also Grant Morrison.
You should probably buy it. Just buy it. It could be worth something.
Trade paperback, worth something. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's, again, I think I'm not going to hold my breath on this. I'm not going to have high hopes for it even happening because, again, Warner Brothers no longer has that interest of like, you know, we'd rather take our chance on like 2 Aquaman spin-off films than put money into a Flash.
Right. I still think the premise of Flashpoint is brilliant. I think it would do very, very well, so I would love to see it happen. It's probably not going to at this point. I wish it would, because you could still incorporate Wonder Woman and Aquaman, right? Put them in there.
You could. Now, the only one part that makes me glad about not having Flashpoint is after the bad reviews to BVS and Suicide Squad, all of the bloggers on MCU Sheep kept saying, oh, with Flashpoint, you can just reboot the whole universe. You guys should just reboot it and start over. They kept saying that over and over and over and over again. So when Captain Marvel got the bad audience scores and bad reviews, and most people are like, yeah, I mean, I just saw it because Endgame is coming out this year, and I just wanted to see, and it was not received well. It's like, oh, maybe they should reboot the whole MCU, guys. How come we're not rebooting that shit then?
The whole thing.
That's the only reason I'm happy that it's like, all right, thank God. So I don't have to fucking hear that shit or see that shit on my fucking timeline. More people to mute, more people to block. Less now. So that's one good thing about it. Again, life is rigged, right? That GIF keeps coming up. A bright spot in the whole show and in the DC universe for DC fans everywhere, because you can never go wrong when you add a little bit of this into our lives. What are we getting, Palpa Kelly?
The latest DLC pack for LEGO DC supervillains, something Batman.
And the next news story is we got a Funko Pop here.
A Funko Pop coming out. Harley Quinn Funko Pop.
Batman the Animated Series is coming to LEGO DC Supervillains, a full DLC pack for the greatest Batman anything of all fucking time.
You like Batman the Animated Series?
It's all right.
Because, like, I see that stuff all the time, and I'm like, yeah, Danny doesn't like that. I don't need to buy any of that for him.
It's all they had at the store.
Right?
I'm like, well, I guess if that's your only Batman
on the shelf,
thing.
And I was just like, oh, well, it must not be
like the last
good.
80 times I've went to the store, they only had Batman the Animated Series. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll get that.
Stuff that I know you don't have, but I was just like, eh.
My tattoo artist, he only knew how to draw Batman the Animated Series. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll take Batman the Animated Series, Ra's al Ghul.
I like that you pointed to your Pokemon tattoo while you were talking about your Batman the Animated Series tattoo.
Well, I mean, Bulbasaur's on the left side, and he's kind of like the Batman of the Pokemon universe. He's just as amazing.
Just makes no sense.
It does make a lot of sense.
I think you forgot which arm your tattú was on.
I think you're wrong.
Because you literally had your phone in your hand.
I said nothing false. I said nothing false.
Baby snorts. But, like, it was so difficult for you to point with the hand that you did because I had your phone and you were pointing with it when you easily could have just used your
Do you not like Batman the Animated Series, Kelly?
I do. It's awesome, but I just don't know why you pointed to your Pokemon
For
tattoo.
$3 fucking dollars, 3 singles, you
Less
get
than a Starbucks coffee.
the Batman the Animated Series level pack, so you get to run around fucking Gotham, true Gotham. True goddamn Gotham. You get Batman the Animated Series Batman. You get to run around as fucking Kevin Conroy. You get the Phantasm, Batman's true love. You also have Captain Clown.
Captain Clown!
Man
Batman
Bat.
Beyond now?
Fucking Man Bat from On Leather Wings. Goddamn iconic episode. Mad Hatter.
Cool.
All right, I would have taken Killer Croc, or the Sewer King.
But Sewer King. Killer Croc could be like, I threw a rock at him.
I love that people always like. I've seen that in the comics too. Like they're like, oh, and Killer Croc. There was a line in one of the books where he's like, and I threw a rock, and I'm like, all right, that's a Batman the Animated Series reference. I get that, but that was Batman saying that. It wasn't Killer Croc.
No, I thought he did.
No, it was all Batman still in disguise, which made it hilarious.
Oh, man. We're going to have to watch that episode again. It was a big rock.
You also get the Joker from so Mark Hamill and Arlene Sorkin. No, not Tara Strong. Arlene Sorkin, true Harley Quinn. Fucking fantastic. God, I want to buy the game just for the DLC pack.
Yeah.
That DLC pack's going to cost me $63.
Well... But here's the thing about Lego games, right? And I know we never finish them, but they are so much fun, particularly if you're 2 players, right? Because me, I suck at video games, but you are good at video games. So you play
used to be.
Whatever. You play the main character and I play the backup character and I'm just running around like dying, but it doesn't even matter, right? I can die all that I want to in the video game. So yes, definitely a lot of fun. And then there's different things you can do when you're playing with 2 players as opposed to 1 player.
You notice Catwoman wasn't in there. So, not that it matters, because if you wanted to truly play like a couple as the video game, I can be Batman and you can be the Phantasm. And just truly in love characters.
I thought you were going to say like Talia, and I was going to be like,
no, she's not in there
get
either.
Out of my house.
And I accept that. I'm like, you know what? We can only put 1 true love character for Batman. I'm like, okay, not Talia, not Catwoman. Phantasm. We can agree on the Phantasm.
What if they put Alfred in there?
They fucking missed Alfred. Fucking Mad Hatter. God damn it. Why didn't they put in fucking Alfred?
They should have. Or even like Jim Gordon.
Yeah, I would have taken Jim Gordon over Mad Hatter. Damn, I would have taken Alfred over Phantasm. Like Batman and Alfred running around fucking Gotham. I kind of want this. I really want to get the game and the DLC pack and run around. And if you can use these characters in the game as well, that's just a huge
icing on the
bonus.
cake. Yeah. Well, now we just have to get it. I'll go on my Target app.
Please.
5% off. Target Red Card. This has just been a good year for you for Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah, I fucking need something. After fucking pedophiles, just, all right. And then the DC Universe, the DCEU, like, oh, we're going to fuck that up. It's like, all right, here, we're not cruel. Like, here you go. It's like, all right, Batman the Animated Series, it keeps all the lifeblood of fandom going. It's like, we got that little bit. Kind of like when I Like you always, I don't know if you joked about it. I'm sure you have years ago when I give you that corner of the blanket when I was chilly at night.
Yeah.
It's like, that's life. Like just giving us the corner of like, here's the animated series.
It was so mean. You just give me that corner. I remember, and I used to like shiver, and you would cocoon yourself. Super cocoon, and then like I'd be like, okay, well, I guess I just have this corner now.
Well, I now know couple etiquette for, I guess, bedtime.
Yes.
I don't cocoon myself anymore.
But you don't, but I also steal all the blankets now, so I'm making up for all these years. But then sometimes you put that weighted blanket in between us, and then I'm very uncomfortable.
Well, you bought that shit.
Yeah, but don't you sleep better when it's on you?
I think I sleep the same.
I think you sleep better.
I think you say that because you bought it.
Maybe. I don't know if this is real life. Is that the right game?
That's the right one. How much is it? $36.99 on Target?
$36.99. Yes. But they have two listed because you also have this one up here. Maybe that's just the special edition one?
Yeah, it just comes with, I'm guessing.
Oh, it's a deluxe edition.
Yeah, probably like a actual Lego figurine and maybe a couple of the. I only need the Batman Animated Series DLC.
Okay, well then there you go. $37 plus 5% off with my Target card. Which, if you guys don't have a Target card, this is a PSA, get a Target card.
I may check GameStop before going to Uno's tomorrow and see if I can find a used copy. But I'm also happy to support it new. Like, that's a great fucking deal.
Speaking of games, I'm sorry, this is off script, but I saw this and I thought of you and you needed to have it. I was at Bed Bath & Beyond, right? The Chingadera store. Mm-hmm. And I walked in and they have this little game controller, like in a box, right? Looked like an old box with a game controller. And I'm like, what's this? And I flip it on the back and it comes with a little USB. So it's a wireless controller, and the USB, you stick it in your TV and you can play Galaga. You can play all the Pac-Man games. $16.
Well, that's
it came
fucking
with
tempting.
6 games. It was Galaga, Galagan.
Galaxian.
Whatever. That thing, it looked like Galaga again. And then it had like Mrs. Pac-Man and regular Pac-Man and like 2 other things.
Mrs. Pac-Man is the better, like it is a great game, but Galaga, the only thing that has me, and it's such I'm a Galaga fan because of this, is depending on the version and the controller you use, the arcade is still the greatest because you can actually fire the quickest. Mm-hmm. And in some console versions, they made it so that you, as quickly as you press the button, based on the combo, when you hit the fucking ship, it doesn't fire quicker, which is really fucking weird. They just make it one speed, but in the arcade one, you can. It's like the animation resets so quick. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that's the same version, great. But I think it was the N64 one had the right one, and then there was like a Wii one that did not, or the GameCube. Yeah, well, I played a lot of fucking Galaga.
It just looked like a good deal to me, right? Because you just plug it into your TV. It's not like you got to wait for a game system to boot up to then pull it up and find. No,
that is a good deal.
Plug it in and go. And you get 20% off because it's Best Buy. But they had like 3 different box sets, right? And the other 2, I had no idea what they were.
Best Buy or Bed Bath?
Bed Bath. I'm sorry. Okay. Bed Bath.
Last bit of news this week. We've got the latest edition that is an exclusive to your local comic book shop. And this comes from Funko. Harley Quinn is going to be hitting stores as based on her comic book look in Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor's DC Rebirth comic books.
This will be coming out May 2019. For those of you who aren't familiar, that's Harley Quinn with her blonde pigtails with the ends that are dipped in paint. No, the ends are dyed. You got one blue and one pink.
It's like cotton candy colors.
Right, cotton candy colors. And then she's got like a red and black corset and then red and black super short shorts. How are they going to make a Funko with a midriff?
They've done it before.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's not like uncomfortable because it's
a Funko. Like, she has her right leg on a radio, and then she's doing the horns, like the rock horns.
In a Funko?
Yeah.
That's weird.
That will be hitting your local comic book shop. Again, exclusive to specialty stores, May 2019. Hell yeah, I'm going to fucking pre-order it. I'm sure we're not going to get it in time for MegaCon, which would be nice because then we can have Jimmy and Amanda sign it. But if not, we can catch them next year because they are Florida locals.
MegaCon is right around the corner. Ooh, you're going to start getting MegaCon updates about all the stuff we're going to do.
Yeah, you would get more in-depth MegaCon updates if they had chosen to give us those press passes and then kind of sponsor it. But they haven't ever since the bigger company ended up buying MegaCon. So who's to say, like, yeah, we're going to go, but God damn, we could have sold them an extra couple tickets.
Forget about what we're doing there. We're going to stay at a cool hotel.
Hell yeah, what hotel are we staying at?
I don't fucking know yet. I'm between 3. I don't know. because you got like the cheaper, not as nice one, which is still pretty nice, right? Mm-hmm. That possibly has free breakfast. Of course, I think all of them have free breakfast now. Because I was talking to my dad. I'm like, yeah, their website doesn't fucking say they have free breakfast. And he's like, Kelly, they all have free breakfast. And I'm like, oh, okay, Dad. So you got that one, but we got to walk across the street outside to get to the convention center. Like peasants. Or we can pay like $20 more and stay at the really nice one where you walk across the Skyway. I haven't decided
like
yet.
royalty.
Like royalty.
Emperor.
That has like a whole lagoon pool that we won't even use.
You asked me earlier if we were going to do the bar kind of after party thing. Last year we did Ale House, which was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. And then we also did the bar, I think it was at the Hilton. I can't remember which, maybe it was the Rosen.
There's Rosen, there's Hilton, and there's Marriott all close by. Was it a big pink building?
I don't remember, but the bar was really nice. And yeah, some Brokettes came out and we hung out at the bar as well. And then we also hung out with the creators of, I believe it was Zombie Tramp. I can't remember, but they were hanging out. Mm-hmm. And so we got to hang out with them for a little bit too. So it was a lot of fun. I don't see why we shouldn't do it this year. I do want to do an event on Facebook and promote it. Which
hotels do the creators and everybody stay at?
That's a great question. If you guys know, let us know and maybe we'll stay at that one. But I guess, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I could ask several people that I have on Twitter, like, you know, David Nakayama, and be like, hey, where are you guys staying at? But I don't know, it's just kind of weird. But I'm sure it's the Hilton. It's usually the Hilton.
Well, then we'll stay at the Hilton. I don't know. We haven't decided yet. But like you said, you'll make a Facebook invitation, right? To go out and have fun. Yep. Have a big old event. I probably still won't be there.
But you gotta at least make an appearance if we go to the hotel bar.
Well, yeah, but I'll have like a baby on my hip and be like, oh.
They'd love to meet Leo.
I know. He's the cutest. He's just so sweet.
Always a compliment. Like a little clone of me. And yes. I'm like, yeah, he is the cutest. My clone is the cutest. My little me is my... Did you see Riggs put up that GIF of like Dr. Evil and little mini me?
So I have a new cubby at work. I moved. So I'm like, I'm going to fucking decorate my cubby. And I put pictures of you guys all over it. And then people look at just Leo and they're like, oh, he looks so much like you. And then they look over and see the picture of the two of you and they're like, oh, he doesn't look like you. I'm like, I know. Thank you. So sad. But I'm glad because I think you're kind of cute. So
Kinda.
Definitely cute. Did you not see my tweets about me stalking you with your new haircut?
I did see those. I also saw DC Olympus. Did you see that one with the DCEU fandom? Mm-hmm. DCEU gals and girls, because it all started with the one tweet of like a pretty big DC Mutual, and he put up a little selfie, and DC Olympus said, damn, he looks better than the fucking guys that he goes after. Like all those fucking reviewers and bloggers are always like these giant fucking big ass, you know, bearded neck beard and balding. And it's like, damn. Or like these giant blogger girls with like purple hair and like really weird. And he's like, he looks better than all the people he goes after. And I'm like, truth, do me next. And then he did. And he retweeted and he's like, damn, DC EU guys and girls look good or are good looking. And I'm like, oh, all right. Cool.
You like blushed a little bit like Charlie Chaplin. Biting your finger.
I think I put up the Bashful from Snow White. Mm-hmm. Like I put up that GIF. That was a good one. But yeah, Charlie Chaplin's a great one. One of the best endings still. By the way, City Lights, it's my second favorite movie of all time. The greatest ending in film of all time. It's a great one. It just reminds me of the Bashful thing.
It was very sweet.
But that does wrap it up for our news this week. Let's head into the Brokette block, which is where the Emperor and I have been.
You've been creating some exciting things this week. Threw it out. Didn't take you long at all. And you're like, look what I just did in my off time, Kelly.
I did it in under an hour. And it was all because I rechanneled this frustration that I had for people just being okay with pedo perv shit. And I was like, fucking bullshit. And I instead obviously I tweeted out a shit ton, but it would have been way more if I hadn't done this. And I did a Barvo Studios t-shirt design. It is the sheep, junk food and sheep, as it says right underneath the Barvo Studios. It's got the sheep head on it. It's got the right colors. It's got junk food, which is this cinema, this fucking junk food film that people pay to see. This fucking nonsense, this fucking pedo perv shit that people are now paying money to watch. And that is the parody design of what it should be. That's like like you want the truth. That is the fucking truth right there. And if you don't like it, it is like Nicholson said. You can't fucking handle it. You can't fucking handle any of it. It is now up on our TeePublic site. Head on over to thereasonsimbroke.com. Click on shop. It will take you straight there. There's also links in today's show notes for the TeePublic shop. And you have the $13 sale that's going on right now. But if not, it will be up very soon. It goes on all the time. And even if you don't get it during the sale, the regular price one, we get a little bit of a bigger cut on those shirts. So a little bit goes a long way. And you get to show it off to the world. You get to represent the Brokehead core. And if you don't like the Marvel Studios one, there's many other shirts and designs and mugs. You can get that on a mug. You can get that on a fucking sticker. If you want to put that in your cubby at work, you can get the Marvel Studios. You saw that. What'd you think of it?
It was amazing. It perfectly, sorry, I can't speak tonight. It perfectly summarized all our feelings about people who are obsessed with Marvel Studios.
If you are frustrated by this pedo perv James Gunn fucking news, get one of these Marvel Studios designed anythings, and you can also support the show in that way. Yes, I did it under an hour. That does not mean that it was not hard work. It fucking was. I had to find the goddamn right fucking font, but that's how much fucking energy I had. That's how much energy I channeled into this
all
shit.
That anger.
Creativity. That is fucking art.
I would wear a Fire James Gunn shirt if you created one.
Don't get me started on that fucking shit, because I will fucking do that shit.
Fire James Gunn. Make it.
If he does the Suicide Squad Junior 2 and that gets fucking announced, then yeah, you'll fucking see that shirt. What have you been doing this week, though? Have you been playing more of the Pokemans?
I did play more of the Pokemans. A few hours this week. I mean, it's mostly been, work since I got back from my cruise last week. I had a 6-day work stretch, which I'm too old for this shit. So mostly work, but I did take some time to play the Pokemans. I beat Erica, finally, and her Tangela and her Vileplume of Doom.
Erica was never memorable in the anime or in the fucking...
she wasn't. They changed the old pervert outside, though. Remember, he's like, it's a gym full of girls. Really? Yeah, now he's like, it's a gym full of strong trainers.
What a fucking 2019 ass fucking... What a tryhard.
It was hilarious. I screenshot it. I have so many screenshots that I want to post, and I just haven't done it yet. So I beat her, and then I went back and beat Team Rocket in their little game corner hideout to get the oscilloscope or whatever the hell.
Well, you need it. You definitely need it.
You gotta have it.
How were you dressed, by the way, as you were...
because I got my Team Rocket costume, right? So I was dressed as Team Rocket the whole time, and I'm like, yeah, bitches. And then I go to fight them, and they're like, you're not Team Rocket. And I'm like, haha, suckers.
Or you're like, no, you're not Team Rocket. Watch me fucking show you how a true Team Rocket fucking person... I'm gonna go up right... I'm gonna defeat goddamn Giovanni.
Yeah.
Show your bitch ass up. I'm gonna fucking fire your ass.
Beachant. But they keep calling me a kid, so I'm like, man, I must be really young.
10.
Yeah. But in the newer games, you were...
Still too old for James. It's not funny, it's true.
It's accurate. Okay, so then I went there, and they introduced a new guy, Archer, the Team Rocket captain or something like that. And, I mean, I think he's my in-game boyfriend. I think I found him.
Really?
That was him.
Archer.
Yeah.
I don't remember him in the game.
He wasn't ever in the game. He's new. And I took some screenshots because I'm like, hi there. I'm 10. And he's like, you're just a kid. And then I went and beat Giovanni. And he's like, I'm sorry I called you a kid. You are pretty strong. And I was like, oh, thanks, Giovanni.
Some Snormini shit here.
They always waited till she was 18. I take that back. There probably were plenty where she was not 18.
How old was Snape when this particular fanfic took place?
40.
When they actually did it?
40.
Too old, you think?
Yes, when she was 18 and he was 40. That's a 22-year difference.
You don't put an age on love as long as they're over 18.
Yes.
18 or over.
Yeah, as long as they're...
So it's okay.
So I beat Giovanni, and then I went back to Lavender Town because now I have the oscilloscope. Oh, because... Then Cubone ran away. Yeah, Cubone's like, I gotta find my mom, peace. And Cubone ran back.
Let me interrupt. How do the ghosts look when you don't have the self-scope thing? Do they look like the old Like,
yeah.
Do they really?
Like, when the thing shows up and it's like, get out, get out. So they're running around, right? All over the place, like, ah. And I'm like, oh my God. And then if they touch you, they zap you out of the building if you can't see them. Otherwise, then you can just run into them and whatever they are and catch them.
Does it still have that smile on it?
Yeah.
Oh man, I really want to see this.
I probably screenshotted it. Let me, I can deposit my self scope in a box maybe.
All right.
I don't know. I can't make promises.
I think as soon as you solve the Cubone thing, they go away.
You don't even have the box. Never mind. Sorry.
What were you saying anyway?
So, now I'm back over there and I'm going around and I'm fighting all these channelers or whatever. But joke's on them because I have a Kadabra, bitches. And I'm like, oh, what's that ghastly psychic? And it's like, and they die every time. Again. So it's one hit KO all throughout. I'm just working on that, working my way up in there.
Kadabra's gaining that XP, like, so strong.
I'm so strong. I still need to train my Charmander more because he's going really slow.
Chant.
Yeah, I need to train my Gyarados more too because he's...
Well, he'll get there. Gyarados will get there,
I mean, Gyarados can do what he wants because I'm going to switch him out for a Lapras as soon as I get to Lavender Town.
I think you should switch when you do, and then switch out Charmander for the Gyarados. And that's probably a better, because he can learn Flamethrower.
Oh, well then shit. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Bye. Because
what's fucking Charizard going to do? Fucking just Flamethrower anyway? Nonsense.
Pikachu learned Fly, so I don't even need the Charizard.
Yeah, there you go.
Because Pikachu just flies around. Does his thing. So it's been a lot of fun. I really, really, really like my Team Rocket costume. I will not change my clothes again until I get the white Team Rocket costume. And even then, I'll probably change it back to the black Team Rocket costume.
Depending on your mood.
Right.
Do you want to be weeb or do you want to be a video gamey gamer?
Both.
The last thing I can say about my week in the Brocat block is that we are getting prepped. Like, next week is going to be a heavy shipment week because we do have not only previews catalogs coming in, which is always, oh shit, let's make room. But Detective Comics 1000 also comes out on the same week. So it's going to be a huge, I still think, I'm still like stressing over whether or not we ordered enough. Did I overorder? Am I going to get replacements? Can I get replacements? It's going to be a rough time with Detective Comics 1000. Because inevitably people will kick it back because they're going to be like, even though I knew it was $9.99, the cost builds up.
Right.
But then on Wednesday, I'm going to probably run out of at least one variant because that happened with Action Comics 1000. And with Batman, it is the greatest superhero of all time. So obviously it's going to do better than Action 1000. So I'm stressing over that, trying to prep. Once that's come and gone, then I'll be probably a little bit more settled up until we ramp up to Free Comic Book Day, which I'm now also prepping for as I'm emailing artists. Thankfully, the owner reminded me, like, hey, do you have any artists lined up? I'm like, oh, shit. Like, we probably could have done it without it. Like, it would still be, the focus is free comics, but that just kind of enhances the experience and makes it an event for the locals especially. So hopefully they come through on us and we can get some local artists to come out. The 501st Legion for Star Wars, they're basically Star Wars cosplayers that go throughout the nation, and they're usually stormtroopers, but you have Jedi, you have the Sith, and I think the red shirts show up.
Oh, okay.
And you can have them show up in the store and they'll take pictures with people, and they're happy to do it.
What do they talk about?
The Klingons and I wish.
Nerd things.
There you go. Nerd things. So that's going to be the next thing on my horizon, but that's going to be a busy week. It's going to be a huge week next week for all comic shops out there. As always, I like to remind everyone that you are now living in a time in which not only did you get to witness and be there for Action Comics 1000, the first comic book to hit 1000 issues, but now also Detective Comics 1000 Batman. You get to have the experience of picking up Detective 1000 from your local comic book shop. Not as a back issue, not as something you bought online, but actually from your pull list or from the shelves. It is awesome. It is cool. I'm just like last year, I'm going to take a selfie with it, and that will be a history of sorts. 1000 issues, 80 years of Batman.
For those of you who are following our Leo updates, he is saying more words in his little baby voice, and it's so cute. And you got to kind of speak another language to decipher it, right? But that's where he is growing, being his baby self, doing fucking hilarious things. He gives out kisses now, which just warms my heart.
With the Brocat block out of the way, let's head into our Patreon shoutouts of the week.
This week we have 2 shoutouts. The first one goes out to Twitter user at insmouth_tide.
Insmouth retweeted the marketing image of the Shazam cell charge standee/station.
Insmouth said, "Clever, very clever."
You see the cord sticking out there. Your phone's charged. Your phone's charged. Your phone's charged. That's a selfie opportunity right there. I'm shocked I haven't seen any more of those. Mm-hmm. I want to come across one of those and just, even if you're not fucking really charging your phone, like take that fucking selfie. That's amazing. I can't, and so far all of the early, the Broquettes that have seen it early, like Omni, loved it. So far the reception from actual reliable reviewers or people that have seen it is very positive. So that's very exciting to hear.
Can't wait to see it. Less than a month?
That's right. Just a couple weeks away. Yep. And if you went to one of the early screenings, then we could have gone on that Friday, but I didn't want to see it without you just in case I hated it. I didn't want to see it a second time.
Have to go see it again.
Next shout out goes out to Elizabeth at EP Lifts.
She tweeted us in reference to Gunn getting rehired and said, quote, "I just saw this on Facebook and thought, BS, I won't believe it until Reasons I'm Broke comments on it. So here I am. WTF is wrong with these companies? And how the hell does a POS work for both companies, but everyone thinks Snyder is the devil? I have so much anger right now. And also, thanks for being my reliable source for information. I guess if there's a positive in this situation, it's that I realize you're the people I trust first and foremost," end quote.
Fucking sweetest tweet.
So nice.
Sweetest, and also on the right moral side of history. Morally, not morally corrupt like these fucking sheep, or like the Walt Disney Company, or like Warner Brothers, who choose to work with a pedo perv known as James Gunn. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for that amazing tweet. It made both of our days, and it's good to hear that we, in some way, the news that we do put out is we do try to be as accurate as possible when we do talk about the news that comes out. Obviously, we don't go with comicbook.com or Cosmic News, which put out a lot of bullshit last week. We try to go with the most reliable sources as possible. That tells us that we're doing the right thing. So thank you so much, Elizabeth, and we're happy that, as you said, a positive thing out of all this is that we can be that reliable source, and it goes to the greatest listeners of all time, which is the Broquette core. So huge thanks, Elizabeth, for the kind words.
But that does wrap up our Patreon shoutouts this week. Thanks to insmouth_tide and Elizabeth and all of our Patreon backers who support us and help make further advancements of the show possible.
Also, a huge thanks to Jose on decalavenue.com for the help at the $5 reward tier.
If you too would like your shout out every single month for as little as $1 a month, that's only 25 cents an episode, sometimes less when we have extra weeks like we do this month.
That's right. Little less than $1 a month, an episode now. Or I'm sorry, less than a quarter an episode.
20 cents. 20 times 5.
You're the math guru. 20 cents an episode for reliable information.
And my hilarity.
That's right. Palpa Kelly's hilarity. Who knew that the Emperor could be so hilarious?
I crack you up. You were telling me the other night that I should be the new Jerry Seinfeld. And I should be talking about faces that look like scrotums. Anyway, go to patreon.com/thereasonsimBroke and you can pay your 25 cents an episode to hear us talk about faces that look like scrotums.
If you don't have $1 to spare each month, but you have an iPhone or know someone that has an iDevice, log on into their iTunes or Apple Podcasts app and leave us an Apple Podcasts review. It takes less than 2 minutes, and it goes a long way in helping out the show.
But of course, the best thing you can do is reach out to us on Twitter. Let us know what you thought of the show. Ask us questions. Tell us what you want us to talk about. Also, let your friends know about the show. That helps us grow our Broquette core.
Let's head into the final segment of the podcast today, and that is our comic book highlight of the week.
This week, we're reviewing Batman number 67, Nightmares Part 5. This is written by Tom King with art by Lee Weeks and Jorge Fornes, and the colorist is Laverne
Kindzierski.
Ooh, good job.
So I heard from one of the subscribers at the shop today that the latest couple of issues by Tom King have been getting review bombed because people want to see what's going on with Bat Dad. They want to know what's happening with Flashpoint Batman. Is what he do to Alfred? What's happening there? What's Alfred? How's he reacting to the old Master Bruce from an alternate universe? And we're instead getting these kind of deep dive stories to Batman's world or Batman's psyche. Batman in trouble, truly. Batman broken by Bane yet again. And a lot of fans and a lot of readers are kind of going, can we get back to it? When are we going to get Bat Dad? What's happening? Why are we still reading this? How's this been 5-6 issues already?
Right. I haven't been keeping up with these issues with Batman. It's been a long time. I don't think I've read since The Wedding was canceled.
Oh, Tom King done fucked up?
That's how long it's been. And I mean, part of that is I just don't have time, right? I can fit in maybe 3 comic books in my week.
And Tom King done fucked up by not doing the fucking wedding.
Yes, that as well. I'm still reading Catwoman, but again, that's not Tom King. So anyway, I digress. I haven't been keeping up with it. This issue, though, I didn't feel like I really had to read prior to. I mean, you explained a little bit that he's been in these dream sequences, but it felt like this book could have been a situation that happened in the past that he's reflecting on. And it was mostly silent. And like you mentioned when you were done reading it, it was a beautiful book.
I'm not in the camp of let's get back to Bat Dad immediately. I'm kind of like, oh, the journey's been pretty good. Like I'm okay with it. All of these little sort of one-shot stories, these experiments that Tom King has been doing with Batman, I've been finding a lot of value in. And I'm not the kind of reader that's just like, well, I just want to know what, like, I get that.
I need to know right now.
It's kind of what the business is built on, right? It's always about the cliffhanger at the very end of the page, but it's all about the journey. It's all about how you get there. It's like, obviously we'll find 2 years from now, we'll know what the ending is, but it's these moments that make it memorable. And with Batman 67, it is, so far, it is the most, I know Doomsday Clock, right? I get that that's around, but Batman 67 is the most gorgeous book I've looked at this year. It feels like classic Batman. It feels like Batman Year One. It feels like almost in some ways, Detective 27. There's a lot in here that screams classic Batman, and what more of an appropriate time to do that than in the 80 years of Batman. So a huge amount of credit to Lee Weeks and Jorge Fornes, who carried the book more than Tom King's story.
Oh, yeah.
And I get that he probably constructed all of this. This is literally a Looney Tunes story. I don't know if you caught on that.
A little bit.
You get Porky Pig in the bar, and then at the end he says, oh, William E. Coyote. It's like, right, Wile E. Coyote. It's like, and then at the end he says beep beep, just like the Roadrunner. So I almost thought this was like the original Looney Tunes book that he put out. And he's like, oh, just fucking release it this month and we're going to make it. And if that's the case, fine. It's still a very good issue. It is a Looney Tunes issue. If you like the Looney Tunes at all, that's what this is. But the whole art is what carries all of this. This is not better than that Batman and Robin silent issue.
No.
It's not nearly as emotional, but it is as gorgeous to look at. It is classic Batman. It is a detective story. This should have been Detective Comics, but it wasn't, and it's still great. It's still Batman struggling to find this particular character, and it is, I don't know what type of psyche we're exploring with Batman. I haven't figured that part out of it, and I don't think there is. I still think it's kind of like a file story that Tom King had for that Looney Tunes tie-in or that Looney Tunes issue, but I still loved it because of the fucking beauty of this artwork. If you ever show this, if you ever want to show a comic book to someone and say this is fucking artwork, this is one of those issues that I think should sit in at the end of time as like, here's one of the top comics you need to stare at.
We've discussed this before a long, long time ago in another show, but when we read books, you are much more focused on the art and I'm much more focused on the words and the story that are being presented. But exactly like you said, the art was done well enough that you could still follow along and it still told a fantastic story without needing those words. So they took enough time, and realistically, I don't know how Tom King planned out the panels, right? Because he does have some planning within it, even though it was silent. But they still took the time to do step by step for every single move these characters are making, and not just, okay, you see him jump over the rail and now they're over here, right? No, you see the villain jump over the rail and you see Batman jump over the rail. And then you could even sit and analyze, like, what's the difference between these two characters just in those small things, because they're not doing them the same way. You obviously have Batman, who's very skilled at it, who looks more graceful jumping over than this other villain that we get. And you follow them throughout this entire story, and the whole time you're just like, oh, is he going to get him? How is he getting away from Batman? How is he falling from this building and still surviving? Right? All these things. And then you get to the end, and it was kind of confusing at the end, I will say that, because, you know, especially since I didn't know it had been a dream prior, or he had been in dream sequences prior. But like I said, without that knowledge, I still felt like, oh, maybe this is something from the past. But then the words he said, until you mentioned Looney Tunes, I had no idea that that's what it was referring to. So it would be interesting to talk to Tom King and see really why he made some of the choices that he did in the wording at the end. But it's what it is. It was still a great read.
You know, Tom, if you're listening, this is, you know, now you have your formal invitation if you want to be on the podcast.
Yeah, so perfect. I'll invite you so you can tell me why the wedding didn't happen.
Like, you just scared him away now.
Why are you making me wait 50 more issues? You done fucked up, Tom. But come on my show, please. I'll be nice if you're here.
He goes, because I decided to marry him with the phantasm. They're like, oh my fucking God. Like, I would forgive him. Completely.
I would not.
I would.
Nope.
100%.
Nope. Not doing it.
Did you get lost in the panel where he's just going through the sewer and he's following the trail of blood? I'm like, this is it right here. This is fucking Batman right there. Took a picture of it. I'm going to share that eventually. And I just, like, this is that kind of thing where it's like, oh, it's fucking Batman just following a trail of blood, following light.
Being badass.
Being the fucking greatest detective of all time. Being the greatest superhero of all time. It is an experience. Like, really, even if you haven't read Batman 1 through 66, you can just pick up 67 and never pick up anything else. It is an amazing story, an amazing comic book, an amazing piece of art.
And with that, guys, we will wrap up our podcast for this week.
Thank you so much for tuning in this and every single week. Thank you for telling your friends about it. If you see anyone else that's a DC mutual or someone else that might have the same interest and taste as you, please let them know about the podcast. If they've never heard of podcasts, introduce them into the world of podcasts. There's a lot to consume out there, but thank you so much we know there's a lot of choices and a lot of options out there. So thank you so much for making us a part of your list and a part of your time of day.
Once again, you can reach out to us on Twitter at ReasonsI'mBroke, at Kelli, spelled with an I.
That's right.
And we always love to hear from you guys. We're always happy to answer any questions that you have.
For a link on everywhere you can find us, head on over to thereasonsi'mbroke.com. It will have Kelli's Twitter. It will have mine. It will have the merch. It will have everything that you need. Thereasonsi'mbroke.com.
Thank you guys so much. I am Emperor Kelli.
And I am Engineer Daniel.
And Broke at Core, all will be well.